This is where it all began. Right here in this fellowship hall, the leaders of Petaluma Christian Church gathered after a time of fasting and prayer to discuss what they heard from God. The result was a vision they called 5 and 5 by 5 that included starting 5 churches by the year 2005. It was a God-sized dream for a small church, but that's probably why God honored it. He loves it when we dream God-sized dreams. And today, that little church of 125 people has grown to more than 1,000 people through the churches it's planted. New Life is church number 2 in that great vision. Our next landmark day was just 5 weeks later. People were already deciding to follow Jesus. So we gathered right here around the baptism behind me for our first baptism service. Mark and Lisa Bernard, who are still part of our church today, were the first of more than 500 baptisms now. This is Sonoma Mountain School, the place of our grand opening on February 1st, 1998. That day, our tiny little band of a couple dozen people and whoever else we could get to volunteer carried in children's ministry, projection, sound equipment through 35-mile-per-hour gusts of wind and sheets of pouring rain. Our spirits couldn't be dampened that day. We were convinced God was up to something big and we wanted to be part of it. In spite of the weather, 245 people showed up that day and we were off and running. I'm standing here on the stage at Lucchese Center. This auditorium and its surrounding classrooms were home to our church for nearly 8 years. Who could forget the great times of people deciding to follow Jesus and getting baptized and dedicating their kids, or the not so great times of people falling through chairs that weren't welded properly, or the stench of beer-soaked carpets. But it was here that God raised more than $1 million required to move us to our present home. So here we are at Clegg Street. It's our current home, but certainly not our destination. Far from it. We haven't arrived. Everything God has done so far, He has done with an eye on our future. Our best and brightest days are still ahead. We live in an area that's still largely unchurched. Most of our friends and family are disconnected from any personal relationship with God, and there are coming generations to reach. Our work, our assignment from God, our mission, it's still largely unfulfilled. The first 15 years have been great, even spectacular in some ways. We are deeply blessed and truly grateful, but our hearts are still set on the future. So what is next? Well, I couldn't be happier or more excited to share it with you. This is a day like no other. This is our time. Let's get at it.